using our chat room just to socialize. I hope this is clear to our all participants so that we can have a good presentation and discussion later. Reminder to all our participants here in the Zoom, don't forget to take a selfie before and towards the end of our session.
I hope this is clear to our all participants so that we can have a good
Ma'am G,
later.
turn off the mute the microphone of our participants. Session and post to our NCPEP page and group using our hashtags FitFun Webinar Series, NCPEP International, and hashtag Virtual Classroom. Attendance link. This is the attendance link. You can check on it later. The attendance link will be until, or submitting your attendance will be until 12 noon only. So later we will post this also in our chat room. For updates and inquiries, please add our FB account, join our FB group, and like our FB page, and share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So this is all our reminders, and we are going to start now because I know that we will learn a lot today. So our first speaker, okay, our first speaker will talk about how to create a virtual classroom using FLIPGRID. So she is a Teacher of the Year of Shape America in Eastern District in 2017, Elementary NYS Upward 2015 Elementary Physical Education. Without much further ado, later, I know she will discuss a lot about herself also. Without much further ado, I would like to welcome Miss Lynn Heffley of New York City.
Okay.
Morning, ma'am. I will stop.
Good morning. Good morning.
And good evening.
That's right. Good evening. It's good evening here. I'm going to share my PowerPoint presentation to get started, and I'm going to stop my my video so that you can see the full screen. All right. I think I can. There, I'm going to stop my video and start. All right, so we're going to talk today HPE with Hef. My name is Lynn Heffley, and we're going to talk about creating meaningful physical education and creating virtual classrooms. A little bit about me before we start. I have a bachelor's degree in physical education and a master's degree in movement science with a concentration in biomechanics. I'm originally from Massachusetts, but I moved to Huntington, New York, and I spent my 30 years teaching primarily in the elementary school. After about 10, 15 years of teaching, I created a company called Literature Enhanced Physical Education, where I write fictional stories to introduce physical education units. At the present time, I have written 9 teacher resources and 8 children's books that are fictional stories to introduce physical education units. Those are available at leapincorporated.com, and we'll talk a little bit about what else is there later. Like was said, I am the 2015 New York State Teacher of the Year for Elementary Physical Education, and the 2017 Eastern District Shape America Teacher of the Year for Elementary School. I'm an open national trainer. That means that I travel the United States and do physical education presentations for openphysed.org, and we'll talk a little bit about that later as well. I'm an educational consultant so that I can do things like this for you. I have traveled recently around the country and as far as Australia this past November to do one of their physical education conferences. Most recently, as a retired physical education teacher, I spend most of my time creating YouTube videos for the health and physical education community. And that is why, that is how you found me on Facebook. So that's a little bit about me, and let's get started.
Good morning. I'm so excited to share HPE with Hef and my virtual classroom with you today. Let's head into the gym.
So when all of this, the COVID happened and classes were shutting down, that was when most people started doing virtual and online videos and whatnot for their classrooms. But I started creating videos before all this happened because we were lucky enough to have a flat screen technology in our gymnasium. And I saw that the future of physical education, although at different levels, is going to become very video based, just like our classrooms have started to become very immersed in technology. And I love technology and I like to create videos. So I started creating my videos a few years ago so that when this virtual learning started occurring, I was a little bit ahead of the curve. When the virtual classroom started popping up for physical education on Facebook, I started to look at how I could contribute to that technology. And virtual classrooms that I've been seeing primarily look like a cartoon gymnasium with a lot of equipment in them. And they're linking to different pages with activities. And I think because we have been thrown into this so quickly, most of the activities that we're seeing at the present time, I feel, have been to keep children moving and haven't necessarily been connected to our curriculum. So my goal through my, my YouTube channel and my website is to try to create content for our virtual classrooms that mirror our curriculum. Now in the United States, we use the Shape America standards and outcomes. And I'm looking at those standards and outcomes and trying to structure my classrooms that and videos that I'm creating so that they will move sequentially for our students and our teachers. And it would hopefully be like you're teaching in your gymnasium, the exact same content or as close as we can get it, but in their house, rather than just allowing them to get moving at home. So the goal of this project, our webinar today, is to unpack what a virtual classroom looks like, both in content and technology. So that first page where I walked in, I'm in the hallway, I think of that as exactly how I would greet my students. The students come down the hallway, you're in the hallway, you greet them with a smile, and you're excited for the day. So if I were to start a virtual classroom, I might start with a greeting like that one there. This one that I created for you here today was done with a green screen. Now I'm creating my virtual classroom, or this one here was done in PowerPoint. I happen to be most proficient in PowerPoint, although I'm trying to become more proficient in Google Slides because I feel that at least in America, more schools are using Google Slides and Google Classroom to put out their content than they are PowerPoint and Microsoft Teams. There's also another platform, I'm not sure if you're aware, called Buncee. And Buncee is very unique, and I see a lot of potential in Buncee for physical education, because Buncee allows you to make a virtual classroom in their platform, and they also have their own images and graphics and animation library, so that you don't have to search around the internet for images to put in your library. You can upload your own images, and you can also use from their library. And then all your assessments and everything else are saved right in that platform. So if you get a chance to check out Buncee, I think that might be a very useful resource for you. But back to my first page. So I created that using a green screen, and my personal favorite green screen app is called Do Ink. It's a $5 app that I use on my iPad and my my iPhone. And I've created a lot of exercise videos with it, and this one right here. If you're looking to learn how to use the Doing app, you can go to my YouTube channel, which we'll post later, and I have a step-by-step video on how to use the Doing green screen. A lot of people I know also use iMovie. I don't know whatever you prefer, but I use Doing. Now, when I'm creating my Google Classroom, my virtual classroom, and I have that first slide, I'm going to transition automatically to the second slide, which is the interior of my gymnasium. Here we are in my gymnasium, and it looks a lot like maybe my gymnasium would in real life. Now, when your students come into your gymnasium, I think the first thing you do is, in my gymnasium, they would go to their learning spots on the floor. Some teachers have them come to a circle. So for me, I want my students to come to me, and there's a start button that is the first thing they see in my classroom. So when they click on that start button, they're going to have me speaking.
Hi, my friends. Welcome to HPE with HEF, Health and Physical Education's virtual classroom. I'm Coach HEF. Today's lesson is about the 5 components of fitness. We're going to learn how to take your heart rate, and we're going to get a lot of exercise in. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you have a safe place to exercise. Then simply click on the number 1 to begin your lesson. When you've finished with part 1, click on the Go Back button, and it'll take you back to start the second part of your lesson, and then just continue clicking through. All right, let's get started.
So when your students came into your gymnasium, the first thing you would probably do is tell them how your lesson was going to proceed. And that's exactly what I tried to do in that video, give them an expectation of what we were going to learn in the gymnasium that day. When you create your virtual classroom on your computer, the first thing you're going to need is a background graphic. That's the picture in the back that you put into your PowerPoint. Mine I purchased on Vector Stock. I purchased it because I wanted to use it copyright free and on my YouTube videos commercially. If you would like free images, you can go to pixabay.com and Creative Commons so that you can use, so that you don't get in copyright trouble, essentially. Then you look at that arrow that jumps up and down. That arrow that you see there, the green one, that GIF, I found at animatedimages.org. Animated images, you just type in whatever kind of image you want, and you can download GIFs for free. My favorite little piece of technology right now is that Animoji that I use to speak to my students. That Animoji is created on my iPhone X or later. You can get it on an iPad Pro 11-inch or an iPad 12.9 third generation or later. The first thing you need to do to create one of those is you have to create a Memoji and then an Animoji. So if you want to learn how to do those 2 things, I also have created a step-by-step tutorial on how those are created on my YouTube channel. But essentially, to make a Memoji, you're making a cartoon character of yourself on your iPhone. And then you go to the chat. So if I was going to send a text message to somebody and I opened up a new chat, then the Animoji tab underneath, I would click on that and video. And while I'm doing a video chat text, I'm creating these, and then I just save them to my phone and use them in my virtual classroom. I download them that way. So that's how I get them in, but there's a step-by-step tutorial on my YouTube channel for you. Most people that I see, and because it is kind of time consuming to do those Animojis, it's just as easy to put a whiteboard picture on your virtual classroom and put the instructions for each thing on each page you want to create. So we're back in our virtual gymnasium, and you'll see there's a number 1 next to my video screen. In my gymnasium, I had a video screen right up on the stage of my gymnasium, and I would bring the students over to show them a video about whatever lesson I was going to be teaching. So that will be the first thing that we do in our lesson. Our students click on that number 1.
Our lesson today starts with a brain bite. This brain bite teaches about the 5 components of health-related fitness. Enjoy. Phys Ed, brain bites for fitness. I'm your instructor, Cynthia R.G. My friends call me Synergy, because I get the spirit, the mind, and the body to work together. Today's topic is fitness. Fitness is the condition of being physically strong and healthy. There are 5 components of fitness: cardiovascular endurance, flexibility, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and body composition. Harrison eats healthy foods and exercises daily to improve his level of fitness. Turn and talk. How can you change your eating habits to increase your level of fitness? 15 seconds. Walk and talk. What exercises can you do to increase your level of fitness? 30 seconds. We hope you enjoyed today's Brain Bite. Physical Education's Food for Thought.
So in my gymnasium, I would show this, a video like this, to teach the cognitive concepts that I wanted to link to my physical activity. When I started making Brain Bites, the idea was that I felt in our gymnasiums, we have such little time and we want to get so much activity in, but if we're not teaching our students the importance, the why of why we're doing it, and giving them that knowledge, then they're not going to know why they should continue on into their adulthood. So I started creating these small Brain Bites, and I'm hoping to have them so that teachers can give the content, this content, very quickly in concise words. They all are about 2 to 3 minutes long. They all have questions at the end so that students can think about and reflect on things. They are on my YouTube channel for you to download and use, or to use in your virtual classrooms. But just like in your gymnasium, we moved over to the screen, and in your virtual classroom, this is the first link to someplace in your virtual classroom. So in order to create a link, you're gonna click on the picture that you've put into your virtual classroom. And then you're going to go to Insert, and then you can link it, click on the link button, and it will ask you to link it from your computer or from a YouTube channel. And you would just copy the URL for any video that you wanted and put it into that space. And now you've linked the picture in your virtual classroom to this page in your PowerPoint or Google Slide, okay? So virtually and figuratively, you are on this page and your students just watch this video. And now they need to be able to get back to your virtual classroom. So you need to create another link from that picture in the corner where it says, let's go back. And you have to create another link from there back to your classroom homepage. Okay, if that makes sense. Before we do that though, let's, just so that you know how I made those videos, I use animaker.com, and that's a video creator website, and it's web-based. They do have a free version. However, the free version doesn't have a lot of content. And so once you start, you want to have a soccer player and they don't have a football player. They're very limited on the number of characters that you can use. So you do have to purchase, and it is quite expensive. You know, because I'm retired and I'm doing this full time, I decided to purchase it so that I could create these for the health and physical education community. So that's, if you want to take a look at that, I do believe they might have a teacher classroom version at a reduced rate. So when you go on their website, go all the way down to the bottom and look for Animaker Classroom and see what that says. All right, so then let's take a look. So you create this link down here in the corner, and you need to link all the way back to your classroom. And here we go. So we're back in our classroom. And just like in your gymnasium, you might have posters on the wall. And so this poster here, the warm-up poster, is the second thing that we're going to go to.
Warm up. A brief 5 to 10 minute period of exercise that precedes a workout. The purpose of a warm-up is to elevate muscle temperature and increase blood flow to the muscle that will be engaged in the workout, exercise, or competition. Krista always performed a warm-up before dance practices and performances in order to prevent muscle injury.
So this is called an academic vocabulary card, and I got these from openphysed.org. And I would actually like to take you there very quickly if I can figure out how to do this. I'm going to do a new share. I'm going to head over. Oh, it's not there. I took it down. Nope, I guess we'll stay here. Anyway, so openphysed.org is the brainchild of a gentleman called Aaron Hart, and he believed that all teachers should have access to free curriculum resources for all teachers, no matter how rich or poor their school district was. So he went to a company called US Games. They're a sporting good company, and they sell physical education equipment. And he proposed that he wanted to get a group of teachers together to create curriculum to give away for free. And US Games said yes. And over the last 6 or 7 years, openphysed.org has created modules for kindergarten through 12th grade teachers. So when you go on their site and sign up for free, you can access lesson plans and assessments and all the tools you need to teach pretty much anything, kindergarten through 12th grade. Now, when we all started to teach remotely, they went into high gear and started creating at-home resources. So when you go on their website, and you look at the top tab that says at home, and you scroll down through there, the last 12 weeks of HPE at home have lessons. So when you go back to school, and all of those lessons that they have are primarily for resources for people that don't have access to internet. And now I know we talked about this before this session started. that some of your students don't have access to internet. So these tools that Open Phys Ed has under their at-home tab could be crucial for you to use. So that's why I'm letting you know about them. What Open Phys Ed is now doing is understanding, just as I am, that we want to head into this next school year, not just giving activities that are fun to do at home, but activities that have connections and mirror the curriculum that they should be doing in school. So coming up very shortly, within the next month, they're going to be putting out modules week by week that should follow the Shape America standards. So you might want to check back in on that for that as well. They do also have virtual classroom videos and lessons that you can link into your virtual classroom that we're creating today. The last thing that they have that I want to point out is professional development. Now, I know that you have college professors that are watching this video right now, and they have a tab under professional development because college is also shut down. They've created at the present 3 different lessons, webinars that can be taken by college students and college professors. So check that out as well. As far as this page is concerned in our virtual classroom, I inserted an automated Animoji to introduce and read that warm-up card. For you, and you don't want to do an Animoji, you can easily just go to your top tab, click on Insert Audio Clip, and record your own voice recording that academic vocabulary card and insert that. Or you can just have the students read it on their own. And of course, don't forget to link it back to your home page. Okay, seem to be, there he goes. All right, now we're going to take a look at this little jumping guy, this GIF of that heart. See what he has to say.
Okay, before we do our warm-up, we're going to learn how to take our heart rate. So make sure you learn how to do it and can do it well before we move on. Brain bites, heart rate. The heart is a muscle that pumps blood throughout the body. Your pulse is a rhythmical throbbing of the arteries as blood pumps through them. Your heart rate is the number of times your heart beats in a minute. Your heart rate can be measured by feeling your pulse. And then your heart rate can be used to monitor your health and exercise program. Today's lesson, how to take your pulse and calculate your heart rate. To take your pulse, place your pointer and middle fingers on the inside of your opposite wrist, just below your thumb. Can you feel your pulse? Now we need to count the beats to calculate your heart rate. Let's give it a try. When I say begin, you will count the beats for 6 seconds. Ready, set, begin. Stop. Multiply this number by 10 to get your heart rate in beats per minute. For example, 7 beats times 10 equals 70 beats per minute. Let's experiment. Take your pulse for 15 seconds and multiply by 4. Compare this heart rate calculation to your previous one. Which one do you think is more accurate and why? Now, place your pointer finger and middle fingers below your chin next to your windpipe. Can you find your pulse here? Try to take your pulse. How does this number compare to the one you took at your wrist? Finally, take your pulse before exercise, during and after. Compare these heart rates. Why do you think your heart rate changed? Boy, you really put your heart into today's Brain Bite. Physical education, food for thought.
Okay, so we just gave our students a teaching assignment, and I think it might be a great idea to insert a link to a Google form where your students could actually write down their heart rate throughout their time at home when they exercise. So you can put those Google Forms, a link to your Google Form right in your virtual classroom. All right, and don't forget to link back home. Number 4 is a radio over on the left-hand side. Let's take a look.
Okay, you're ready. You've taken your heart rate at rest. Now we're going to do our warm-up. The warm-up is a lot of different movements. These are locomotor movements. You're going to need some space. If you're in the gymnasium, that's wonderful. You can just go in a circle, but make sure that you move at a safe speed and keep your own space. If you're at home and you have like a kitchen table or a family room table that you can move around, just make sure you have a lot of distance, move at a safe speed. If you don't have any space, then you can try to do these things in place, like skipping in place or walking in place and marching in place. Okay, let's get started.
Listen for the locomotor movement and then move to the beat. Let's stroll. Let's march. I won't go through that whole video, but the reason I put this in here for you to see is that creating something like that is so simple because all it is a PowerPoint that transitions every 20 seconds with music that you've chosen that matches a locomotor skill. Originally, and you can go on YouTube and put in Greg and Steve, Listen and Move, was the original idea behind this. My students absolutely love to warm up to Greg and Steve's Listen and Move, but it didn't include the locomotor skill skip. So I decided to make my own and have different locomotor skills. So I have a move and groove, and I also have another one on my YouTube channel, but you can make these so easily by yourself. When you create them and you start your own YouTube channel to get started on creating your virtual classrooms, just go to the YouTube audio library that is in the YouTube studio, okay? You'll notice that when I introduced this activity for students to do in school or at home, that I talked about safety. And it's going to be interesting to see in the United States that if we're teaching students to move at home and they get hurt at home, like sometimes they do at school, what are the repercussions of that happening? So I think it's important that we talk about safety in our lessons. And link this page back to your virtual classroom. Now down here on the left-hand side, you see a Bitmoji of myself running on a treadmill. This is our first activity. Now this activity I did not originally
It's time for Tabata Roulette with Hef. Tap on the spinning wheel and count for 10 seconds. Then tap it again to see which exercise you're going to do. Then click on the 20-second button. Exercise for 20 seconds, and then start again. Click on the roulette wheel. Let's get started.
Like I said, this wasn't initially in my virtual classroom that I created a couple of weeks ago, but I created this one last week. I was looking for a roulette wheel to use in the virtual classroom, and I couldn't find one that I could embed right in my virtual classroom. So I went on YouTube and just typed in random spinners, and up came somebody teaching me how to make a random spinner in PowerPoint. So I created this one on my own. Then I Googled how to create a timer and did that on my own and put it together, and there you have it. Down in the right-hand corner, you'll see I made a different timer so that the students could take their heart rate at the end. So when they come to this page, they tap on the spinning wheel. It'll spin around. You tap on it again. And the students will do push-ups. They tap on the 20-second timer. They'll start doing their push-ups for 20 seconds. When the timer finishes, then they simply click on the roulette wheel again and do their next exercise. If they do it for 8 rounds, they've done a Tabata. And the one that I have that you can download at on my website at leapincorporated.com comes with some music. And then when the students finish their Tabata, they take their heart rate over here for 6 seconds. You can have your students do it for 6 seconds or 15, whichever is easier. I only did my heart rate with my students for counting it for 6 seconds because it was easier for them to do the math of 6 times 10 rather than 15 times 4. All right. So breaking that down, the Tabata Roulette is on my my web page. Learning how to create your own random spinner is on my YouTube page. Here are a couple of recommendations on YouTube that you can put into your virtual classroom. I used to work at a school called Southdown PE, and my students and I created physical snacks. They are green screen video exercises by kindergarten to 3rd graders. And so our students did exercises in front of a green screen, and we created some videos of our children in the ocean, in outer space, and all over the world so that other children can go on their YouTube channel and exercise. I really like Glenn Higgins's Get Kids Moving. Darby.com is a great site for high school students, college students. So there are a few recommendations for you. And a link back home. Number 6.
Cool down. It's a noun. It's a brief 5 to 10 minute period of low intensity exercise that immediately follows the primary conditioning period. After running a 5K race, Eric liked to slow his heart and muscles back down with a 5-minute cool down walk.
And number 7.
Okay, you're finished with your workout and you're ready for your cool down. You're going to do yoga and stretching as you travel around the world to really exotic places. When you're doing your yoga and stretching, kind of concentrate on breathing in and breathing out slowly, okay? Enjoy your cool down.
And emotions, yoga shapes and stretches. Today's Emotions. It's a Wonderful World, Stretching and Yoga Shapes Exploration Camp. Directions. Ask your parents' permission to participate in this activity. Find a safe surface to exercise on. Try to make your body into the shape of the person in the video. Breathe in through your nose as the picture gets closer, and breathe out through your mouth as the picture moves away. Side stretch. In the Coliseum.
So each of these I call animations, and the animations that I have done so far, they're about 6 minutes long. So it's a nice chunk of activity for the students to do at home. Then you see down in the left-hand corner, I have another heart rate timer and a link back.
Okay, you're finished.
There we go. So you can see that my classroom was kind of set up the way I might do a class at school, although this has an awful lot of content in it. I put a lot of this in so that you could see different things that I might that are available to you and different types of technology that you can use to put in to your virtual classroom. But from my understanding, if your students have a week of physical education, all of this can be, this is probably an hour's worth of work right here that they could do throughout the week. So my recommendation is to just take a look at what your classroom setup and routine is, and then create your virtual classroom just like that, so the students feel like that they're in your class. Look at all of the different links, but it's easy to create this kind of virtual classroom because all you're doing is linking from one picture to another and back again. Finally, over here on the wall is our assessment.
Hi, my friends, welcome back. Now you're finished with your workout. What I want you to do is take your heart rate one more time and then compare the 3 heart rates: before you worked out, after you worked out, and then after your cool down. And then ask yourself, why do you think they're different? Now we're going to move on to the assessment part of your lesson. Now, boys and girls, this assessment is for you, not for me, to see what you've learned from today's lesson. When you go through this, there's some exercise involved. If you're completely wiped out, feel free to skip the exercise portion and just do the question and answer and see if you got it right. Okay? All right, good luck.
Phys Ed Brain Bites. Fitness Formative Assessment. I'm your instructor, Synergy, back to see what you learned from our PE pals. I'm going to ask a question. For example, which person is expending more calories? Answer with your body by performing one of the actions. The correct answer will be revealed after 10 seconds. If you were dancing, you got the correct answer. Okay, you're ready. Set, go. Which person is increasing their cardiovascular endurance?
So that's just a fun way that I would do a formative assessment to see whether or not my students were picking up the information that I was giving them in the classroom, and they can also do that at home. Other ways that you can put assessments into your virtual classroom is through Google Forms and through FLIPGRID, which is what we're going to take a look at next.
Congratulations, you're finished with today's lesson. Thanks for joining me for HPE with HEF, Health and Physical Education's virtual classroom. Have a happy and healthy day.
So I thought it was important to have an end screen so that I could say goodbye to my students. I wouldn't just leave them at the end of an activity with a test and not say goodbye. So you can have an end screen to congratulate them or tell them what's going to happen next day in class. And then you could have a link to go back to the beginning. But let's take a look at our flow chart now. At the top where it says HPE with HEF, I introduced myself in the hallway and welcomed them into the gymnasium. Then we were in the gymnasium, and in our gymnasium, we had posters, and we had a smart board to watch video on, and we had a radio to listen to music for our warm up. And then we had activities and a heart. So a lot of stuff going in there, and they all link to different parts of the gymnasium where we took our students on their physical education adventure, and followed by an end screen. So your PowerPoint or Google slide will look like that with all the links heading back to the home page, which is your virtual gymnasium. Okay. On my YouTube channel, I have 2 playlists. One is called the Virtual Classroom playlist, and that has all of the instructions on how to create everything I have in this virtual classroom, except for the Animaker website videos. I will, by July 1st, have how to make an animated Bitmoji and how to make a virtual classroom in Google Slides. That's my goal for this upcoming week. So I'm hoping to have those done before I head on vacation. So let's move on to the last part of our lesson, and that's Tech Bites with HEF. I decided to, just like I'm helping you, but to help others by creating short videos on how to use technology. So this one is, it's about 10 minutes long, and it's about how to use FLIPGRID. And then we'll finish up. That'll take us right to the 10 o'clock hour, and we'll start our questions.
Welcome to Tech Bites with HEF. Today I'm going to share FLIPGRID. Now FLIPGRID is the perfect platform for both in-school and virtual learning. It allows students to reflect, discuss, and learn through student voice. Let's get started. So type in flipgrid.com into the search bar, and this page will come up. Now you're going to go to Educator Sign Up, and you can sign up with Google or Microsoft. So I'm going to sign up with Google and choose my account, and I've logged in, and now I have to tell them about myself. So I put in all, welcome to FLIPGRID. We're going to start our grid. Let's name our grid. I'm going to call it Tech Bites. And in this area, we're going to go with a school email. With your school email, you can create your own FLIPGRID code. So right here, it gives me one, but if I wanted to just change that, I could change it to what I want to make it easier for my students. So there we go, and next. Now in this section, you want to put whatever the suffix is for your school email account. I'm going to just put at Gmail so that I can put in whatever guests I want that have a Gmail. Okay, here we go. And now my grid's ready. That's pretty easy, right? And this is what I could copy to send out in an email to people to invite them. I can send it out in Embedded. I can send it to Microsoft Teams. I can send it to Google Classroom or in Remind. So let's go to our grid. So here we are at our grid, and you can see I have a background photo. I have my FLIPGRID link, and it says Add Copilot. Okay, if I want to add a co-pilot, that means maybe I have a co-teacher, or maybe I'm working on a special project with somebody, and I can add them as a co-pilot. The next thing we're going to click on is Share, and you can see that you can share it just like you did before. And actions. Now here are the actions that we have. We can add our copilots. We can duplicate the grid. We can get grid notifications. Take a look at the grid notifications. Over here I can have daily notifications, weekly, every time student adds a new video, or never. Those are my options. Finally, let's take a look at the edit button. And when you edit, you can edit any of the details that you put in the beginning. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and take a look at my background image that I kind of didn't like. So I can change my background image as a featured. I can look at nature ones, at people, and at textures. I'm going to try and go with a nature, and we're going to look and maybe take these butterflies. All right, and then I update my grid. So I have my new picture. The last thing I want to look at on grids is to click on My Grids, okay? And when you click on My Grids, you'll see that there's a button to add a new grid. So if you think of a grid as your class and you teach more than one class, you might need more than one grid. So when you add a grid, you'll start at the beginning and put all the information in you did in the beginning about your first grid. Okay, there you go. Let's move on. So here we are back on our grid homepage, and I did notice that it's a fish, not a butterfly, but I think I'll keep him. And we're going to scroll down a little bit, and you'll see that there's topics. I'm going to add a topic. FLIPGRID starts you off with one, so you have an example of it, but we're going to add our own. We're going to have a topic title, and I'm going to call it fitness. And then I'm going to add my question, or what I want students to reflect upon. So I'm going to ask them, do you know the 5 components of fitness? There's my question. The recording time for them can change. I don't suggest you make it too long because they can ramble on. And then video moderation. It's probably important to have because you don't want children to put things up that you don't think are acceptable. So you will have to look at them all before they're posted to the class for everybody else to see. Now here's some optional focuses. You can record your own video. You can upload a video, a YouTube, upload an image, Giphy, an emoji, something from Microsoft, Google, Kahoot, all these different options that you can add to this topic. If you want more options down here, you can give them a tip, like a hint. You can attach a URL. It's an active. And here are the things that the students can do that you can change. Okay, there's selfies or videos or stickers. You can allow them to edit. You can allow them to like other people's videos, but you can toggle that off if you would like. All right, so now we're going to create our topic. Once it's created, it's given a link. You can once again push it out with an embedded code, Microsoft Teams, Google Classrooms, or Remind. And what I didn't point out before is this QR code that you can share it with. So you can print that QR code out, and then you can post it in your classroom so that children can just take their device and move up and scan it, and it'll go right to that website, or maybe even use Google Tone. All right, so now we're all set. And it'll come to this page, and you can share it out from here. You can add a topic. There you go. That's how you've started your first question or discussion. And let's move on to see what the students have to do now. Okay, here we are on our topics. And you can see our topic has been added. And now we want to view it as a student. So I click on View. And this is what your students are going to see. They're going to log in. And I've already logged in. And there it is, fitness is the topic. Here's my question. If your students have a hard time reading that, they can click on this button over here and it will read the question for them, the topic for them. Then your student's going to click on the moderated plus sign and they're going to add their voice. So I'm going to record my voice. A screen's going to come up. When you look across the screen, there are different things that the students can do. They can add a filter. They can add text, stickers, drawings, a board, or photo stickers. Then they're going to press record and play and answer the question. So I'm going to press record. I'm not going to speak because it'll speak over me in the video. I'll click it on, I'll click it off, and we'll move on. Here we go. Now I would be recording. Okay, we've stopped. And then they can add their filters. Now, one of the filters is really nice, and that's this pixelated one. It's for kids that might be shy, so they could pixelate their photos so that when they're, other students are reflecting on their response, then they won't feel self-conscious. I can redo it if I want, and I'm gonna move to next. Here we go. It's gonna let me review it. Then I take a selfie so that, this will be what it looks like in the response categories. And go to next. I can add my title, optional. I got this. And a link if I would like, and submit it. There it goes. Shows that I've submitted. And I'm complete. All right. Let's go back and see what the teacher sees. We're back on our homepage, and you can see that under the fitness topic, there is one video posted. I can view it as a student. I have made it active. I can freeze it or I can hide it. I'm going to hide it for now. And then I can share it like we did before. And there are actions that I can do. I can record, I can add topic guests, I can add to the disco library, I can activate, move, duplicate, export, and delete. All right, let's take a look at it. It pops up here, and then we're going to view it.
Now I would be recording.
Here we go. Now I would be recording. All right, so that was my response. And I can grade it with a rubric for ideas. I can grade it on performance. I can add a comment, and then I will simply email it. I can reply through a message, a video. Okay? Those are all the things you can do once somebody puts in a response. There we go. All right, let's move on. So those are the basics of getting started with FLIPGRID. There are two things I want to show you that you can explore on your own later on. And the first one, if you take a look at the top, is Grid Pals. Grid Pals shows you where other people across the country and around the world are using FLIPGRID so that maybe you want to work on a project with them. You simply put in your grade, you put in your subject area, and then your grid pals will show up all over the world. Okay? Now the next thing that I want to show you is the Disco Library. In the Disco Library, it's the same thing. You can just type in your categories and you'll see lessons that people have submitted from all over the world, so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can choose a lesson that somebody else has created for you. All right, and there we have some physical education and health lessons from around the world. All right, I hope you enjoyed this session of Tech Bites with Hef, and I'll see you next time.
All right, it's about, so just a couple of comments on FLIPGRID. I used the FLIPGRID when I was in my gymnasium, and I would have students reflect on things, especially social emotional behaviors in the gymnasium. I also had the opportunity to have a Grid Pal with a gentleman named Andy Hare from Australia. So his students and my students were able to talk to one another, and we had them create tag games that the other children in Australia could play, which was really a fun thing to do because just like children in the Philippines, we're on a completely different time schedule. So they were able to connect with children from a different part of the world and see how they were the same and different. So that was a lot of fun. So that's how I used FlipGrid in my gymnasium. It has so much potential as a virtual classroom tool now that we have virtual learning. I did look to see if there were FlipGrid users in the Philippines, and I saw at least 5 health and physical educators throughout the Philippines using FlipGrid. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we can start with questions, I think. Share, start video. I'm back.
Hi, thank you, Ma'am.
Hello. Hello. Yan, may
Very
sound na.
informative, and we're very excited to do that also in our class. We have a virtual classroom. Okay, so but before we discuss further about it, let us have some questions from our participants in the room.
Yes.
Everybody is muted. I don't hear anything. Are you speaking to me?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Sorry. Thank you very much once again, ma'am, for sharing your expertise and your knowledge in using FlipGrid and also having our virtual classroom. Thank you very much, ma'am. And we're so
Thank
excited
you.
to use that in our new classroom or new normal classroom setting, which is this online classroom. But of course, I know some of our participants have questions regarding your presentation. They are raising their hands. You can unmute yourself so that you can directly ask questions to our resource speaker. Let's start with Sir Mark Dexter. Mark Dexter, I saw you raising your hand. Sir Mark Dexter, you can ask question.
He's muted.
I unmute that. Ma'am G, kindly unmute. Ma'am G, Dr. G. I'm trying to unmute.
Naka-unmute na. It's already unmuted.
Yeah, I already unmute him also. Who else have questions? Or just in case if you cannot ask question to the resource speaker directly, you can type your question in our chat room so that I can ask. It's more on, according to Ma'am Adele, very much interested to learn more about FlipGrid. We'll have to practice the tool first because some of the teachers are new in the platform or in the online app. So they need to practice more using FlipGrid.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of practice. It is pretty easy though. And the students are really like it. And as young as first grade, we're able to use FlipGrid in the gymnasium once I gave them a little tutorial. Because truly they just walk up and tap on the record button and speak and then tap on it and they're done. And then they put stickers on their face and everything else. So yeah, it's very, very simple and very young children can use it.
Okay. Who else? Do you have any questions? It's much more on giving thanks to you, ma'am. So great, according to Ma'am Desa Orbistondo, a great speaker. Thank you for sharing your expertise, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope it's useful. And if you ever need anything, you know, I'll send out my contact information so that you can, you know, contact me if you have any questions.
I'm very much interested about the animated Bitmoji. I have Bitmoji, but I'm not used to do animation on it. So
Yes,
Mhm.
it's very simple. So just go to my YouTube site and it takes like 3 minutes to learn.
Okay, just in case, ma'am, kindly also share the link of your YouTube so that we can subscribe also and share your YouTube, because a lot of teachers also really need to know this, all of this, so that they can also prepare for our incoming school year. Um, can you please write also your link, because some of our participants
Yes.
are asking for the link of your YouTube channel. I think Teen Alegre also is asking question. Mom G,
Okay.
kindly unmute Teen.
I think
Teen
I think he
Alegre.
is not raising his hand. He's doing a clap icon.
Mhm. Okay.
Mr. Kismark Esbieto is raising his hand.
You can unmute
You
yourself,
can
please.
unmute yourself, sir.
Sir.
If
I think
you
they
use
cannot do that, Mom G. Kindly unmute them.
in case we will use the made tools and flip maps.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand the question from Adele.
Ah,
Okay, kindly rephrase your question, Ma'am Adele.
it's about the example you showed in the flip grid. One of it was a flip map, and was that a flip map? When we are allowed to go over with the other participants and use the ready-made. You mentioned earlier about the ready-made
Oh,
flip grids.
no,
Was that
I
about it?
don't. I think if you the teachers that put in their ready-made stuff into the library are putting it in with for the sole purpose of you to use.
Oh,
I
okay.
think you are given permission by them submitting it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ma'am Adele. Who else? You can unmute yourself and you can ask directly our resource speaker about your question. And you can also just do it by one. So if someone is already unmute himself, let him speak first. Okay, anyone? I think Mom Lynn already posted her YouTube channel. You can click that link and subscribe to her YouTube channel.
Also, my website, I'm putting that up now.
Yes, please, ma'am.
It has when you go there, there's a page, a tab that says teacher resources. Now, I sell my books on that page on my products page, but the teacher resource page, everything on there is free. And there are a lot of things on there that you can use for distance learning. So especially take a look at that page, the teacher resource page.
Okay. What else? Let's see our chat again. Thank you, ma'am. So, according to Ma'am Sheila Milian, this is my first time to see this kind of presentation and how to use virtual classroom. And very much interesting. Thank you so much to our speaker. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know it could be a little bit overwhelming, but to create one in PowerPoint and in Google Slides next week, I broke how to do it specifically step by step in my videos on YouTube. So they're like 3 or 4 minute videos and you can do a little bit at a time. So it should be easy to do even for a beginner if you follow the videos.
Okay, who else? Thank you. So the YouTube channel link of Ma'am Lynn or Miss Lynn and also her personal website were already posted in our chat room. You can check that and please and share, and also share to your colleagues about what you have
Yes.
learned in this webinar session that we had.
And just let me say that most of the things that I learn on Twitter, and then I create my own from what I see other people doing. So if you have to choose one type of social networking to do, Twitter seems to be the best professional development for physical education. Facebook is good, but Twitter is incredible. So, no, it really is. If you can learn how to use one thing, go on Twitter and learn how to look for the hashtag physed. And we're going with the hashtag HPE at home for all things that we're posting for virtual learning. If you,
Yes.
yeah.
So I'm getting the link already and also the hashtag, I think, so that I can use my Twitter. Mostly here in the Philippines, most of us using Facebook.
Yeah, I like there's PE Central. There are a couple of Facebook, but Twitter is definitely much better for physical education. There is, I wish I had it right now, but there's a link that teaches phys ed teachers how to use Twitter and who to follow on Twitter. And I will get that together and send it to you so that you can send out to your people.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing everything to us, so that we are bombarded of a lot of things that we need to do for this coming school year, and giving us this kind of virtual classroom experience and also using FlipGrids really help us to prepare ourselves this coming school year, because it's very hard. If you agree with me, it's very hard to teach online.
Yes.
You have to spend a lot of time preparing your materials, and you have to make sure these materials will sustain the attention of our students.
Yes. Yes. I think that's crucial. I think that's why things like the animojis and the bitmojis and the, and the videos, that's what children are looking for. So that's what I'm trying to create for you.
Yeah, I'm sure this is not only applicable to juniors or senior high school or primary schools, but also this is applicable also to our tertiary levels, so that you can sustain also the interest of our students in performing the different skills or performing the physical activities at home, not only because I saw that it's really interesting to use the links from getting your heart rate, and also doing Tabata using the wheel. I
Roulette,
really love
the
it, and
roulette.
I think I will use that also in my class.
Terrific.
Very
Very happy.
informative. Very
Thank you.
informative.
Let us read
Can I
some
share?
comments. Yes, sir. Yes, Ma'am Magalona. Dr. Magalona, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
Doc.
Thanks a lot to our speaker, Lynn, for the shared knowledge. This is very informative, and we can use this in the tertiary level because we are producing teachers, and this will encourage them to create so that they can be better teachers in the online method, because this term we will not be having the face-to-face classes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the beginning, I was asked by Anne to share, but it is still not hearable, or the audio has problem because we are having this tremor, active volcano here in the Negros Occidental. We experienced more than 20 shakes already.
Oh my gosh.
Shocks. Okay, so the signal is not really good. The FlipGrid is very interesting on the part of the learners, and I wish to have a link with that so that I can share with the future teachers in the field. Thank you very much for the shared knowledge. And to Incipet, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure.
Actually, you can check also Lynn in PE Central. Am I correct? You have posted a lot of your materials in other websites or physical education websites aside from your own personal website.
I usually, when I create something, I put it out on numerous Facebook pages, and sometimes they're in Open Phys Ed, and then just my two sites. Mhm.
You said it's very good site for physical educators. You can get a lot of lesson plans, curriculum activities, anything. Most of the time I search my lessons there in the said
Mhm.
website. Okay, it's ready-made
Yes.
activities that you can use that in your class. Okay, so let's read some comments. They can from Ma'am Shela Milia, from Teresa Alfonso. Thank you very much. Very informative. Ma'am Lance Veran. Thank you very much to our speaker for giving us such a great and interesting way of discussing a lesson using this app. Thank you so much again, ma'am, from Ma'am Divina. It's more on giving thanks to you, ma'am, not more on questions. I think you explained them clearly how to use the Flipgrid and how to make your own virtual classroom. Very interactive forms of presentation. Thank you, ma'am. This is very useful from Ma'am Rosalyn Valdez. And also from Shobi Rosel, I already use Flipgrid in my class. What I really like this is the use of the background graphics. But unfortunately, it's only for an iPhone user. Hopefully, there is an option for Windows or Android that you might share to us. But overall, it is very cool and interesting topic. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge. I think
I
you
hope
can
to.
use.
I
Yes, ma'am.
do. I don't have an Android phone, but I am going to look into that because I know that there are a lot of teachers out there that don't have iPads and whatnot. So I am aware of it, and we'll try to look into it for those people.
Yes, there are a lot of apps using that Flipgrid. You can use that also in your Windows and your Android
Yes.
phones. And actually, you can do that in your Google Slides, the virtual
Yes.
classroom. You can use that in the virtual Google
Uh,
Classroom. Google
yeah.
Slides rather.
I think a lot of teachers with Androids are using Bitmojis
Yes, Bitmoji.
instead of Animojis, but I haven't figured out how to make those speak
Yeah. We will have to
like the
check.
Animoji does.
We have to check what app is using app that we can use using our Android phones when we do animation in our Bitmoji. I will check on that also, ma'am. So from Sir Cristobal, it's wonderful presentation, but it needs time to practice, especially teachers who is not quite familiar with technology. Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice like everything else.
Because there are a lot of apps already online, and you don't know what apps you're going to use. So we're bombarded already with the different apps. Can you share to us how we're going to choose the right application or tool that we can use to
For
our class, ma'am?
for physical education.
Is there
Yes, ma'am Lynn. Because there are a lot of apps now. And
Yeah.
what do you think is the best way to choose which app is applicable in teaching our students, especially in physical education?
Yeah. Unfortunately, every classroom's different and every teacher's different. I shared my favorites. Like I said, I like Flipgrid because it's interactive for the students. And I tend to use the green screen app a lot. My students like that because they could create their own green screen videos. That was important to me. Um, there are some other apps to use in the gymnasium, but as virtually, I don't know what other apps the kids could use from home. I think Bunsy, have you used Bunsy at all?
Not yet. I have.
Not familiar.
Yeah, Bunsy seems like the children can make their own videos in their own virtual classrooms in Bunsy. I'm gonna try to learn that in the middle of next month. But your whole school district can get a Bunsy at a certain price, and then everybody can use it. And it looks like it's really interesting for at least the younger grades. I think that has a lot of potential. So.
Okay, what else? Thank you very much, ma'am. Let's see if there are any questions. But it's more on giving thanks to you, ma'am, for sharing your knowledge. and your presentation is very interesting and informative. I think that's it. Okay,
Okay.
so I think we don't have any questions because you explained it very clearly to us and very easy to follow how to do or
Thank
to
you.
make your own virtual classroom and using PPT. Let's give a virtual clap to Mom. Mom Lynn, thank you very much, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mom. We didn't expect that you will accept our invitation and our request to share your knowledge here in our class. So, okay, so without much further ado, let us have Mom G already posted the links for your attendance. All you need to do is to take a
Fill up
selfie
the
during
form.
the presentation and with our resource speaker, and also do a photo collage of our activities for today for this webinar. Then you are given until 12 o'clock this afternoon to submit your attendance so that you can receive your certificate of participation for this webinar series. Starting, this is the first one. We have a lot of lecture or discussion or webinar sessions that we were going to have for the whole month of June and July. So please wait for that. And also, we have already posted the invitation to you in the Facebook page and Facebook group. All you need to do is to make sure that it's in your calendar so that you will be reminded. Okay, thank you very much once again, Ma'am Lynn. I know it's very late there in New York City. Thank you.
Anna,
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Anna, can we have a photo op?
Yes, please
Please
turn on
ask
your
to turn on the camera.
camera, please. Please turn on your camera. Yes. Sir Ronel, ayan. Sir Cristobal, please turn on. How many grids do we have? We only have 2 grids, Ma'am Jigs. So, Ma'am Andrea, Ma'am Maria Teresa, please turn on your camera. Sir Michael Briones, so that we can start our photo session with our resource speaker, the Teacher of the Year of Shape America. Thank you very much, ma'am. Sir Ronnie
Okay.
Baldos, ayan. Si Sir Cristobal, can you turn it on? Okay,
Scene.
let's take picture. First, formal. Later, the wacky.
Ready?
Okay,
1, 2, 3. Okay.
once more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next, Ma'am G.
Okay. Next slide.
Second slide.
This one.
Okay, ready.
Picture, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much once again. Let's give a round of applause to our
Thank you,
resource
Miss Lynn.
speaker. Thank you, Miss
Bye.
Lynn. I hope this is not the first and last that
Thank
you're
you, Miss
going
Lynn.
to
I'm
accept
here for
our
you.
invitation. Thank you very much. At least we
Thanks again for
know
having me.
that we have the
Thank
same
you.
problems, not only here in the Philippines, because as you mentioned earlier that you're experiencing also problems in regards to
Yes.
gadgets and also all the changes that happening to us right now because of pandemic. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Ma'am Lynn. I hope this is not the last time that you're going to share your knowledge to us.
Hopefully next time it'll be in person.
Yes, I hope so that you're here.
You will come to the
I would love to
Philippines.
come.
Yes, please. We will invite you once the pandemic is all done already, removed.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we will try our best to create or to conduct a seminar, workshop, face to face, not via
Excellent.
an online platform. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much to
Bye-bye.
all our
Bye-bye.
participants. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Thank you so
Okay, we're
much.
going
Bye-bye.
off.
I
Thank
close
you.
1,
5, 4,
2,
2,
3, 2,
3,
3,
2,
1.
1.
2, 3, 1.